For the past, 20 years, we've all known the rules for getting found online. But, well, everything's changing right now. There's a massive shift happening that could make all that hard work kind of pointless. So let's dive into this brand new world and figure out how to make sure you're still seen. I really want to start with this question because it kind of hits at the core of everything we've been taught. For as long as I can remember, being #1 on Google, that was it. That was the goal. But what if that's not even the game we're playing anymore?
Welcome to what people are calling the post-search era. And this isn't some sci-fi movie concept. It's here, right now. Instead of scrolling through those classic 10 blue links, users are just asking an AI a question and getting a direct answer. Now, here's the really crucial part. If your website isn't the source for that answer, you are, for all intents and purposes, invisible.
So what do? How do we adapt? Well, it really boils down to this. Your website has to become bilingual. It needs to keep speaking the old language of search engine crawlers, Google's bots, but now it also has to become fluent in the brand new language of generative AI. Okay, so we all know SEO, search engine optimization. That's the language of the crawlers we've been speaking for years. But now we've got to get good at GEO, which stands for Generative Engine Optimization. This is the language that AI assistants like ChatGPT actually understand and, more importantly, trust. They're two totally different things, but both are absolutely critical now.
Let's just break that down a bit. SEO, you know the drill. It's all about keywords, getting backlinks, making sure your site's technical structure is perfect. It's all about climbing a ranked list. GEO, though, it's a whole different ballgame. It's about giving clear, conversational answers, proving you're a real authority, and making your content so good that an AI feels confident enough to actually cite it.
Here's a good way to think about it. SEO was kind of like trying to game an old computer scanner. You'd stuff your resume with keywords, hoping the machine would pick them up. But GEO is like writing a killer resume for a sharp, human hiring manager. It's not about tricking a system. It's about clearly and convincingly communicating your value to an intelligent reader. In this case, the AI. Okay, so how do we actually start speaking this new language? How does an AI even decide which content it should trust? It all comes down to a specific set of signals. So let's decode this and look at the key factors that these generative engines use to figure out if your content is, AI ready.
All right, first things first. The single most important thing you have to get is that AIs are answer machines. That is their whole reason for being. They exist to give a user a direct answer. So it should be no surprise that the #1 thing they look for is content that's structured to do exactly that.
And what's really fascinating here is that the AIs are literally trained to find content that's written the way we talk. They are actively scanning your pages for these Q&A patterns, the whats, the hows, the whys, because it's a huge clue that your content is there to provide a straight-up answer. And believe me, this isn't just a minor tweak. In the systems that analyze this stuff, just having these Q&A patterns can be worth up to 20 points. That's a huge chunk of your score. It just goes to show how much these new engines value content that's built from the ground up to be an answer.
Next up, an AI cannot afford to be wrong. Its entire reputation is on the line with every answer it gives. It has to ground its answers in reality. So it's absolutely desperate to verify that your content is coming from a real, legitimate expert. This is where those signals of experience, expertise, authority, and trust, what we call EEAT, become so important.
And the AI is not just guessing. It's a machine, so it's looking for machine-readable clues. Stuff like a super clear written by line with an author's name, credentials like CEO or PhD right there in the text, and of course, a solid About Us page that shows there are real qualified people behind the curtain. And again, look at the points. This is another heavily weighted factor. You can't just be an expert anymore. You have to structure your website to prove you're an expert in a way that a machine can easily read and tick off its checklist. So this next one is just common sense when you think about it. Just like AIs want to be a trusted source, they also trust content that cites other trusted sources. When you link out to high-authority websites, it's a massive signal that you've done your homework and your content is grounded in facts. And we're not talking about linking to just any old blog post. The AI is specifically on the lookout for citations to the big guns. Think .gov and .edu websites, top-tier publications like Forbes, and major research firms like McKinsey or Gartner. Linking to these guys is like a credibility shortcut. When you back up your claims with hard data and link out to these kinds of authoritative sources, wow, that is a powerful one-two punch. You're basically telling the AI, hey, this isn't just my opinion. This is well-researched, factual information. In a way, you're borrowing the authority of your sources, which makes your own content that much more citable. Okay, so how do we actually pull all this together into a real strategy? The most important thing to remember is that we're not throwing SEO out the window. Not at all. SEO is still the foundation of your house. What we're doing is building a second story on top of it. We're integrating GEO, so we're optimized for the crawlers of today and the AIs of tomorrow. And this chart here gives you a pretty clear target to shoot for. If you can get your GEO score into that good or even better, excellent range, it means you're in a fantastic spot. It means you're not just showing up in old school search, you're also very, very likely to be picked up and cited by AI. So here it is, your 4-step blueprint for this new post-search world. First, keep that SEO foundation strong. Don't neglect it. Second, start weaving in all these GEO signals we've been talking about. Third, actively think about structuring your content so it can be a direct, citable answer. And finally, number 4, focus on building what you could call dual authority, where you're trusted by both Google's bots and the AI models. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The whole game is shifting. It's moving away from just being discoverable in a long list and toward becoming the definitive source for a single correct answer. That's the mindset we all need to have now. And that's really what I want to leave you with. It's not good enough anymore for your content to just be findable with a few keywords. In this post-search era, the only question that truly matters is this one. Is your content good enough, clear enough, and trustworthy enough for an AI to cite it as the truth?